If you want to hunt public land, you mentally have to say, you know what? I'm going to do the unconventional when it comes to getting access to my public land. Access is so difficult here. You're either coming with an outfitter, which I didn't, or you're going to have a landowner charge you a trespass fee, which I didn't, or you're going to fly in, which I did. I'm not going to let obstacles get in the way of me legally accessing our public land. If there is public land and there's a tag to be had, I'm applying, and if I get that tag, I'm going to go. I don't care what the hurdle is. Somehow, I'm going to be there.
What can I say? They don't want me to hunt here? You're going to have to get a little bit more creative about keeping me out of here.
A lot of people will ask, why would you fly a helicopter into such a small little piece of public land? Even though I might not kill a bull, the odds are pretty high I'm going to see at least one really big bull. One of the challenges I have here is I'm hunting an area of about 3,000 acres, which isn't very big for elk hunting. And it's not one contiguous block. It's these little ribbons of 160 acres here connected to 200 acres connected. So it's almost like going through this maze. And if I blow these elk out of here, I'm done. They're gone, they're going to private. I'm not gonna see them again. Those bulls are over there on private. They're about 150 yards on the other side of the property boundary. Archery hunting, I don't dare hunt right on the boundary. So I'm back about 400 yards over this way. You gotta come up with a plan. A plan. What a grunt. It's so hot. And it's September 8th. Maybe it's just too early. I don't think so. Haven't got a tag. I can shoot her 22 yards. Broadside. I can shoot. Too early or not. The responsible thing to do was to let that cow go. I have the ethical responsibility of how do I make sure that that meat is going to get home clean, fresh, unspoiled. And the heat here, I mean, we're dealing with 90-degree heat a lot of these days. There's no way you're going to keep an elk fresh for 4 days in 90-degree heat. This is why elk hunting is a young man's game. But if you want to kill an elk on public land early in the season, this is what you gotta do. Good news is, there's more bulls right there in front of me than I could shoot in a lifetime of tags. If they keep going that way, they could end up on public, but then I got about a 4-mile jaunt up and around the private to get to them. I am gonna kill one of those though. These kids just don't know it yet. GPS, Google Earth, good map, and you can hunt these areas that are really a checkerboard mix of public and private. They got up high, I've patterned them, I've watched them for 2 days, I know what they do. And this morning I watched, now I know where they're bedding. They're stopped in some dark timber and it is public. We're looking at 4.5 to 5 miles. There are elk there. And if there are elk, On Your Own Adventures is gonna find a way to go there and film a hunt of killing one of those elk. After Troy and I decide, okay, we're gonna go down there and check it out. We're walking down there and there's this big covey of blue grouse in front of us. And Troy's like, shoot one, that'll be dinner. Got him. They're not the smartest things in the world, but they're some of the tastiest things in the world, especially a young one like this. In short order, had the breast off, had the legs off. I feel like chicken tonight, I feel like chicken tonight. This morning, that big group of elk came right through here. If they come out like they have the last 2 nights, there's gonna be a pile of elk coming out of here. What I didn't count on is there was a water hole over on private, just north of me. So I'm over here, and I'm thinking they're gonna come right through here. No, they jogged north and dropped down into this water hole, off limits. That's a big sucker. Yeah, that's the one. No matter how I try to explain it, the frustration of that is probably evident more on video than I can put into words. This is like the Woodstock of elk. There's all kind of debauchery going on here. But that's what I sign up for. If you can't handle the frustration of elk being on private land, then don't hunt these kind of places. This many humongous bulls just stirring the pot, just going and going. You don't see this very often. I looked at Troy, I said, what do you think, should we spend the night? He said, I think we should. So even though most of our gear was back at camp, we were light on food, light on water, all we had was our hot weather gear. We said, we're gonna sleep right here in the grass, and when those elk come back in, we're gonna be here for them. If the elk can sleep out here, well, we can sleep out here. We have very little food. We have 1 peanut butter and jelly sandwich. This is dinner and breakfast and lunch for tomorrow. And what did you say you have?
I have 4 pieces of jerky.
He's got 4 pieces of jerky. We set up our position about 250, 300 yards off the private boundary. We start making our bed for the night.
Night, sunshine.
Yeah. Don't hate me for this.
And here's my sleeping quarters. It actually isn't too bad. The game bags are total key for survivalists. This is pretty sweet. Just a bunch of pine boughs and you're good to go. So we'll see y'all in the morning. One more thing, if Randy doesn't shoot an elk, I'm gonna kill him.
This was kind of fun to start with. You know, camping out overnight, sleeping in the grass where the elk are gonna come in. But then it got pretty serious when the temperature dropped and that wind started blowing 30, 40 miles an hour. Now I'm thinking, this wasn't a good idea.
You start shivering like this, what do? You go log half of the fort.
I'm trying to sleep here, come on.
In an instance like this, you have to have a sense of humor because it is so miserable. It's miserable beyond anything you can imagine.
Randy looks like a turtle. It's like 3 in the morning now. We're trying to decide who has a bigger den, but I think I got him beat.
Oh, you got me beat by about 4 cords.
I'm shivered because I've been sitting up here in this wind all night. Didn't bring enough clothes with. Didn't think I'm as prepared as I need to be, that's for sure. What I won't do for an elk. Hoping I can tough it out until then. So, signing off. This is what Troy's little mountain looks like here. He built himself a little hut in the pines.
You know, as I thought about the night that we spent out in the woods.
That may have been the dumbest thing we've ever done, and it better pay off because neither one of us can move.
In retrospect, I probably let my enthusiasm for elk hunting get in the way of common sense.
He cut a hole in the bottom of one of the game bags.
Good morning.
You know, there's a whole litany of things that can go wrong. And I probably pushed that envelope a little further than common sense would dictate. But I guess maybe that's what makes me a serious elk hunter.
I'm shaking so bad the footage is going to be terrible.
I don't care. Let's go kill him right now. All right, I'm ready.
Maybe that's an expression of my passion for wanting to show people that if you work hard, you can kill an elk on public land. And there's no level of work that I won't go through to try get my elk.
They're calling me over there. After spending a night in this hut, I'm going over there now, and we're gonna have a squaring off.
So we start dropping over there, and there's just this sheer cliff. And I thought, well, I'm gonna peek over and see how steep that cliff is. And when I do, I look, and there's a whole string of elk, cows, just being quiet, just walking that trail down there, thinking, aha, we got them. They're gonna lead the whole herd up here on the public. Well, the wind being what it is in the morning, drops down in there, and within 20 seconds, their noses are up there looking around, doing this. And they didn't see anything, they just smelled it, and one cow barked, whew, off they go. So that small group goes up that way, the rest of them turn and head back to the private.
You know how they say that hunting is 75% hard work, 20% knowledge and experience, and 5% luck. And if that 5% is bad luck, you'll overdo and override the other 95% of hard work and knowledge.
And that's the drill. That's how it went. I wish I had some great footage to show you of, oh, they walked right by me and I drew and I didn't want that one. It didn't work that way. We busted our asses and we didn't even get an encounter. Welcome to elk hunting. Mentally is the last day of the hunt. I've been doing this for 5 days. If I can't kill an elk in 5 days, what makes me think I'm gonna kill one on the 6th? I mean, everything you could think of in an elk hunt has been thrown our way. And now all of a sudden, I'm thinking, I'm glad I got out of bed this morning.
See, there's 3 bulls right there.
Very good. Absolutely terrible wind for here.
God. They were just like 75 or 80 yards right there. And the wind changes, gone. unfortunately, that ridge is private and there's nothing we can do about it. So I told Troy, let's just watch where they go. Let's see if somehow we can get them in a position that's got a lot of public land where we can go after them. And we sat and just watched bull after cow, 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 bull, cow, cow, and some just monstrous bulls come across there.
I've waited here since noon. It's now 6:30. Got a little over an hour to make my move. That bull's pushing his cows right onto the public, right on the boundary. So I'm gonna drop down here. I'm gonna ease up there and hope that he pushes himself and some of his cows past me. This is it. It's the last evening. I don't know how else to say it.
When we get to where the timber's getting pretty sparse now, I told Troy, I said, I'm gonna put my pack down right here. The rest of it, I'm gonna go really slow, really quiet, and I'm gonna find a tree or a couple trees out there and I'm gonna sit down. And I tell Troy, look, we're just gonna have to be patient. We're gonna have to sit here and wait and see what happens. It was the most exciting 1 hour of waiting I've ever spent on an elk hunt. Hands down, ever.
There's a bull right there with 3 cows right behind us.
And so here that bull is coming and coming, and just when he gets his head behind that tree, I get up on my knees and I come to full draw, and he sees me do it. And so he's standing there. All I can see are antlers behind this limb. And I'm thinking, come on, buddy, come on, please, please. Wow.
See him? He's spinning around up there. He's down. He's down. He made it about 75 yards. Oh. I cannot believe that.
You hunt for the thrill and the challenge. Yes, we hunt for meat. Some hunt for trophies.
Holy cow. I can't believe I pulled it off.
But those of us who are hunters, we know that when it's man against quarry, you are gonna be pushed. No other facet of your life forces you to go through so many things. And that is why we hunt.
Thank you, Mr. Bull. I'm almost without words, which most people would say Randy not having words to express himself is probably rare, but one of the guys who we've done a lot of on your own adventures hunts with is my Uncle Larry. And it was the 3rd day of this hunt when my wife called and said his lymphoma had returned. And they told him, if it comes back, your odds aren't that good. And Larry, I've thought about you pretty much every hour of every day since learning about that, and this elk's for you.
You were there with me the whole time.